I never thought I'd hear the words that broke me completely. I don't want to be with you anymore, you weren't a good wife. It wasn't just the words. It was the timing, the look in his eyes, the calm way he said it, as if my life, my love, and everything I gave him meant nothing. And just like that, 12 years of marriage, every moment of my adult life tied to him, felt like it had been a lie. I met him when I was young, barely out of my teens, and everything felt like it was meant to be. He was charming, funny, and somehow, even in the chaos of my life, he made me feel like I belonged. I gave him my whole heart, my whole life. We got married. We had kids. I thought I was living the life I was supposed to, building a family, a home, a future. But beneath the surface, something was always off. There were secrets, lies I couldn't see, betrayal I couldn't touch. The first time I found out he was cheating, I was pregnant. I remember sitting on the edge of the bathtub, my hand on my swollen belly, trying to understand how someone could do this to me while I carried their child. I cried until my body ached, until I felt like I was splitting in two. And then it happened again. And again. Each time, a different version of betrayal. Sometimes it was women at work, sometimes, worse. I found out things that made me feel ashamed, humiliated, and so small I could hardly breathe. I kept quiet, because this was my life. This was the life I had chosen, or maybe the life I had accepted. I tried to hold on. I really did. But the more I tried, the more I felt myself disappearing. I couldn't touch him without thinking of the other women. I couldn't be intimate when the memory of betrayal burned fresh in my mind. And he told me I deserved it. That I deserved to be hurt. That somehow, I was the reason for everything. I want to make it clear, I wasn't perfect. I was angry. I was hurt. I withdrew. I was absent emotionally because it was the only way I could survive. But he blamed me for it. Some nights, I'd sit in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I had done enough. Why am I like this? I whispered to myself one night, tears streaming down my cheeks. Why can't I just be loved? He'd be upstairs, playing video games, laughing, like the pain I carried didn't exist. And I hated him for it, and yet, I loved him too. I remember one particular day, after my mother passed, lying on the couch, barely able to move from grief, from exhaustion, from the cancer treatments I'd fought through, and he was gone. With someone else. I felt invisible. I felt worthless. I didn't tell anyone. How could I? Who would understand that I had survived grief, illness, pregnancy, betrayal, and still, here I was, crying over a man who refused to see my worth? My best friend finally said it out loud. You've been emotionally abused, she said gently, but firmly. This isn't love. You've given him everything, and he's taken it all, and still he blames you. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit something. But mostly, I wanted to cry until there was nothing left. He came home one evening, his voice calm, almost casual, and said it. I can't do this anymore. You weren't a good wife. My chest felt like it had been ripped open. My brain screamed, no, it's not true. I gave you everything. I survived for you. I fought for this marriage. But he didn't hear me. He had made up his mind. And I was left in the wreckage of my own life, questioning everything, my worth, my choices, my sanity. I wanted to argue. I wanted to beg. I wanted to fix this. But how do you fix someone who refuses to see the truth? How do you fight for love when the person you love has already abandoned it? And yet, there was a part of me that still wanted to believe. I thought maybe if I apologized for my failings, if I tried harder, if I loved more, he would stay. I know now how absurd it sounds, how dangerous it is to hope in someone who doesn't see your value. I realized that all the ways I had tried to hold him, to fight for us, had been, not enough. And maybe they never would have been. Because this wasn't just about me. This was about him, and what he wanted, and the choices he had been making for years. The worst moment didn't come with a shout or a fight. It came with silence. I watched him sit across from me, sipping his drink, and I realized the life I knew was gone. He didn't want me. He didn't love me the way I loved him. 12 years of mornings, nights, laughter, tears, and memories, wiped away with one sentence. I remember looking at him and thinking, is this really it? Is this all I built? I had no answers. Just a hollow ache that swallowed me whole. The betrayal of all those years, the grief I carried alone, the exhaustion of surviving life's worst moments, and now, the person I trusted most was gone. I felt broken. Shattered. Small. But here's the thing about hitting rock bottom, you either stay there, or you climb. I had to think of my kids. I couldn't let them see me this week. I couldn't let my little girl see me crying, see me consumed by someone who didn't value me. So I started to fight. Slowly, painfully, day by day. I joined a divorce support group. I went back to therapy. I faced my grief, my shame, my loneliness. I learned, painfully, that wanting love doesn't make me weak. That wanting safety and care doesn't make me selfish. That it's okay to grieve someone who never truly saw you. I am learning to love myself. To protect myself. To teach my children that their mom is strong, even when life knocks her down. I'm finding that life without him, it's not easy, but it's mine. And maybe one day, I'll find someone who sees me, who prioritizes me, who loves me in the ways I deserve. But for now, I fight for me. And for them. If this story made you feel anything, if it reminded you of someone you lost, someone you loved, or the strength it takes to let go, subscribe to Story X Daily for more real stories like this. Stories that remind us we're not alone, and that healing is possible, even when it feels impossible.